Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the TGIF edition of Today in Sports Betting. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Scott Reichel, taking a look at the NBA. Scott, not a lot of excitement in college tonight. We're gonna skip the college ranks and go right to the NBA. Nothing. I guess we got what do we got? Wisconsin and
Rutgers.
Rutgers. Yeah, that's.
Rutgers has kind of fallen off a cliff, though.
Yeah, they really have. They were so 2 weeks ago that
Yep.
it's the Scarlet Knight. So, a couple of TV games tonight in the NBA. Scott, before we roll, is there anything in college that really stands out? Anything you're excited about?
Really, no. I tried as hard as I could to find something for college basketball because I know that that's what a decent amount of people have been looking for me.
Right.
But for the most part, didn't really find that much. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of games, but sometimes quantity doesn't always equal quality, and that's definitely the case tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, there's a good way to tell about how excited we are about the college basketball card. Looking at our play of the day, Scott's doing a UFC video, and I'm doing a NBA. So, yeah, not a lot of. I do have a couple premium picks in the college ranks that I was able to find, but
I think maybe if you wanted for something, maybe you can look into Liberty against Stetson. I'm not fully going to play it. I think it's available at 9.5 now. Line's gone up a lot. I might play it, might not, slight sprinkle, but I'm not giving that out officially. It's just something that caught my eye last night, but I didn't end up pulling the trigger.
I always avoid games between two nouns. That just doesn't work out for me.
That's fair. I just like Liberty. I think that that's a solid basketball team.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Those commercials are everywhere.
I can't get that out of my head.
My dad and I still say to each other, Liberty Bibberty, every time we see one of those commercials.
Outstanding.
That's how it works.
Outstanding. Well, buddy, we got the good news is we've got a couple of good NBA games on the tube tonight. A little Friday night action. By the way, you guys getting this snow? You got snow coming this weekend?
As far as I know, maybe some sprinkles. It's not. I mean, we're going to get into it with the NFL show because one of those games should have some snow involved. But by me, not really. Maybe a little bit, but it's mostly upstate.
I'm just looking out my window for a blizzard right now, so that's why I wondered if you guys had it coming. So, all right. So this is we're talking about the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks. Hey, those teams are pretty good, Scott. Good news for Dallas is Porzingis looks like he's going to be back. So he's managed to play 2 games now.
Yeah, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah, so that's good. And of course, Luka Doncic will be there as well. Bad news is everybody else is out pretty much. A lot of second line reserve players are quarantined. They've got 5 cases of COVID on their team. Is that going to have an effect, Scott, on their depth?
I think it kind of has to.
It will have an effect on their depth. How much is it going to matter to this game? How about that?
I think it matters to some degree. I know Milwaukee's bench isn't really good at all, and that's been my main gripe with this team all season long. So I do think that it hurts Dallas because when you look at the advantage that Dallas would have in this game, it would clearly be the bench unit, assuming both teams were at full strength. I think Brunson's a very good player off the bench. Finney-Smith usually starts, but still he provides some value, and Richardson as well can shoot. I do think it'll play a factor. Having said that, I still think that Dallas can hang around in this game.
Yeah, this is you could go absolutely broke betting on Milwaukee. This is a team that
I can't figure this team out.
No, and they've been that way for 2 years. They should be able to cover. They have arguably the best player in the NBA that starts for them. Certainly, if you judge by who won the MVP last year, he would be. But again, I know if you've listened to our show for any length of time, Scott hates this Milwaukee team. Is that fair to say?
It's honestly fair. It's just a matter of looking at A, what this team needed to do to get over the hump, and B, just looking at how this team should play on any given night. And last year, even when the team wasn't good enough to, of course, make a deep run in the playoffs and they got exposed by Miami, in the regular season, they were mauling teams. And they're not even doing that anymore.
No, they're not. And they will and they'll break your heart. They'll have a game like this, like the Utah game a couple of weeks ago.
That one killed me.
Yeah, They're 5.5-point favorites. They lose by 13. They're never competitive in the game. So it's frustrating. They've had trouble covering against Detroit this season. They've failed to cover 2 of the 3 games against the Pistons.
I know that Milwaukee's won each of its last 3 games. However, they played Cleveland, who has completely fallen back down to earth. That team's basically imploded. Played Orlando, who was good early in the year. They kind of fell back to earth as well, and Detroit. So I'm not exactly going to buy into the recent winning streak as saying that the Bucks are back on track. I just think they were handed basically 2.5 layups and made all 2.5 of them.
Yep.
Congratulations.
And on the other hand, you've got a Dallas Mavericks team that started off a little bit slowly, but they've won and covered 4 straight. Yeah. But again, you look at the competition level of those 4 games, not great. Houston, Denver, Orlando, Charlotte. Denver, obviously.
The Denver win in overtime on the road, though, is a decent win there.
Yeah, I would. And Denver certainly is a high quality team, as evidenced by their deep playoff run last year. But as you and I have covered ad nauseum, don't play a lot of defense.
No, yesterday they did, which didn't really work out for both of us on the leans. But still, I think Denver is fine. I know Michael Porter Jr. being out for over a week hasn't really helped things, but still a good win by Dallas. I know that Dallas was trailing for a decent portion of that game, but ended up rallying to win. So they have looked sharper. Kind of surprising, though, because last year Dallas played no defense at all, and right around the bubble time, they were auto-overs, basically.
Right.
This season, they're only giving up 104.4 points per game. So they flipped some type of switch, and this team defensively has actually been really good.
Yeah, and that's very good. By the way, the Bucks are favored by 7 tonight. 228 is the total. I usually read that, and I got so excited about talking about this game, I forgot to mention the odds. 228 seems a little high to me. How about you?
I got to lean to the under here. Dallas I know the game ended up totaling in the 240s between the Mavericks and the Nuggets. That also went to overtime. So, of course, those numbers are inflated. But played Charlotte, game didn't even break 200. Played Orlando, game landed 210. Right. Even Houston, when Harden was still there, 213, and Houston plays at a decent pace there. Milwaukee's also pretty good defensively. I know Milwaukee offensively has been very good, but once again, it has had some easy competition in some of those blowout games. I like the under here. There's a reason why this line has already come down from around 230 to 228.5.
Right.
I'll take the under there. I just think Dallas is one of those teams that you just look at and say, what's an excuse I can use to play the under? And I feel like that's how I'm looking at this game.
Well, in Milwaukee, not necessarily the greatest defensive team, but they have played well the last 3. Given up 290 over their last 3, which when that comes out to 97 a game roughly. So, that's it's hard for me to back this Milwaukee team against a good team, and I think Dallas is playing right now is playing pretty good basketball. Obviously, you'd think the injuries or you'd think in the absences of those 5 guys are going to hurt them. Didn't hurt them against Charlotte, although Charlotte and Milwaukee not exactly the same level of competition. If I would lean on the side, I would probably take Dallas plus the 7. Do you think how's this going to affect the pace with these guys being out, Scott?
Well, I think that fatigue could play a factor, especially if you're going to have to rely on your starters to get more minutes because you have less quality guys in the rotations. So could potentially lead to a low-scoring second half if this game turns a bit physical and you have some of the starters who have to log 30 to, I don't want to say 40 minutes, but like 37 minutes or so. They might just start throwing out bricks in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I would probably my preferred pick would probably be Dallas plus 4 in the first half. And then play in the under on that one. So
for me, I'm just going to lean to the under as well. I'll lean to Dallas plus the points, but I feel better about the under.
I do too. Absolutely. All right, good. Hey, that's weird. We start off. We're both on the same side.
Yep.
Oh,
we'll see what happens when Milwaukee wins by 30.
It's Kumbaya Friday, everybody. So welcome. All right. So there's our first game, and now Scott. It's the game that apparently all the TV executives think we want to see, but frankly, I'm not that excited about it. It's the New Orleans Pelicans at the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers 10-point favorite. 219 is the total, Scott. 219. This is you and I talked about it a little bit before the show. This was supposed to be one of those passing of the torch games between LeBron and Zion.
Being fully sarcastic, of course.
Well, I think LeBron's been a little stingy with that torch, my friend.
And the torch is taped to his hand.
I think every time Zion gets close to that torch, LeBron just hits him over the head with it. Starts his basketball shorts on fire. So, any hope for the Pelicans anytime soon, Scott?
Well, there's hope if LeBron or Anthony Davis or both don't play. I think that's a hope, which once again, I mentioned this like a broken record. The Lakers this year are going to treat the injury report like the Patriots, and everyone's going to be questionable. And you're just going to have to take the line and pray that both of them play. Yeah. I think we'll agree with that. That's basically what they're doing every single game. Everyone's questionable all the time. So you have
couldn't hate it more. Couldn't hate it more.
No, it's annoying, but it's just a matter of, well, the Lakers in the regular season can finish with the number one seed if they want to. The only question is, how much do they care? I don't know the answer to that. Over the last couple of games, I got to assume that it seems like they're starting to figure it out, but they also had a very easy schedule against Houston, twice against Oklahoma City. So those 3 blowout wins don't exactly account for a tremendous amount. However, I do think Los Angeles is the best team in the league. Even with the Nets getting Harden, I still think that the Lakers are the best team. New Orleans, I said it before. I know that they were missing a bunch of guys against the Clippers and hung tough. This team just isn't good. It's a matter of spacing. You can't have Zion, Ingram, and Adams on the court at the same time. You just can't do it. Ingram can shoot. He prefers to drive. And in today's NBA, you can't have a power forward or a small forward, for Zion, whatever you want to put him at, and a center who can't shoot. You're going to absolutely destroy the spacing on your team. That's exactly what's happened with the Pelicans. They can't shoot the ball from the outside.
Yeah, absolutely true. And that's the way defenses play them too.
So based on this, I have to lean Lakers because this team is going absolutely nuts over the past week. I'll cross my fingers and hope that LeBron and AD feel like playing tonight, but I really just can't pick the Pelicans here because I think this team is not going to make the playoffs. I think this team's very good, and I think one of them will be traded.
They haven't played good defense lately. They started off with a couple of good defensive efforts against some questionable opponents, but man, the defense lately has just been not good. And other than playing the Clippers, not exactly playing murderer's row there. Toronto, Indiana, Oklahoma City, and Charlotte. They have given up a minimum of 111 points in each of those games.
Can you back the team on a 4-game losing streak against the best team in the league on the road?
I can't. That's it. I want to backtrack on that, Scott. I think 10 points is a ton.
It's a lot, but I do think I think LeBron and AD will play because it's also a TV game. And I know the NBA has tried to, well, I know in recent years, I'd say limit the amount of stars being out for TV games. That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I know this year they've been a little bit more lax with it because of the shortened schedule, whatever, but LeBron and AD really haven't missed that many games. So far up to this point, I'm sure they will later on in the year. But as of right now, I'll assume both of them are going to play. And if that's the case, the Lakers' defense has been the best in the league from what I've seen. The offense is very good as well. I got to take the Lakers because the Pelicans right now just aren't good at basketball. It's a big number, but I still think that it's potentially worth a line because I don't want to take the Pelicans here.
I like the over.
That's fair.
I like the over, and I think if you play the over here, you have to play the Lakers because you know that the Pelicans probably aren't going to help much. So you've got to count on the Lakers getting to 120 or so, and I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility. So I think if the Lakers get to 120, I think we can make that 219.
Yeah, I know it's still early for the Pelicans in the season because they're only 10 games in. Does not look like Stan Van Gundy was necessarily the right hire there, or at least based on the current roster. If you had the choice between keeping Ingram and keeping Zion, who are you picking? Because I don't think both of them can play with each other.
Well, That's not even a hard question. You have to keep Zion.
I agree. I think Ingram is the better player right now, but I agree. I think that just based on the future alone. So it would not surprise me if at some point within the next handful of months, even maybe after the season, that Ingram gets shipped. It would not.
I mean, that's from a PR standpoint. That's not even a question. That's
Correct.
you couldn't. There's no way, under no circumstances, could you get rid of Zion unless it was a tremendous package.
Or unless Zion got a serious injury or something like that.
Yeah, unless he turned into Porzingis or something like that, where he was always hobbled. But no, that's you can't do that.
I'm assuming you agree based on the current roster, they have to basically blow up most of their team.
I think so. I don't see another way around it. Like you said, we're only 10 games in. Maybe we'll be proven wrong. But
and they traded Drew Holiday, so they have a bunch of draft capital. You know that they're going to be building for the future. Mm-hmm. I don't think Ingram really fits into those plans.
It doesn't seem like it does. So
I don't get why they signed Adams either. I know Adams helps with the defense, or I'm sorry, they acquired Adams. I know that he helps with the defense, but sure, I guess for a young team, I figured you'd kind of want a bunch of young guys and start from scratch. But you do you. But I think Ingram will no longer be on the Pelicans within the next 5 months or so.
Do we know for sure that Adams wasn't the guy wearing furs and the hat with horns the other day at the Capitol?
Could have. I thought he was busy filming the next Aquaman movie.
It seems very Adams. I like Adams. He's a gamer. He goes out there and
I like him too. I'm just saying, in today's NBA, his game has become progressively obsolete.
Yeah. He would have been a great guy to go up against Bill Laimbeer and those guys.
Yeah, 1980s. Throw him in there; it'd be great.
For Absolutely. Yeah. So, what's your best play in this game, bud?
It'd be the Lakers for me. Okay. Until I see the Lakers slow down, this team looks like they're finally deciding, like, all right, let's blow it open early. We'll take a nap for the last 2 months of the season.
All right. I like the over, and I'll fade you. Because that's just 10 is such a ton. It's such a lug, and you never know when the Lakers are going to be motivated to put somebody away like that or not. So
it's fair. I can't trust the Pelicans.
Fair enough. That's hard to argue with. So I'll take the over as my main play and give you a slight fade there on this side. All right, that's our two TV games. Anything else on this card stand out that you want to throw out there? Obviously, Mr. UFC, you probably don't have a lot that you love about this card. Is there any numbers that have broken the right way that has renewed your interest?
Well, I think the one thing you have to always keep in mind with the current NBA is to check the injury reports. Because you might see, for example, a game like the Celtics where they're laying 3 against Orlando, and you'll think, that looks pretty tempting. It's like, oh, wait, Tatum's out and Jaylen Brown might not play, and they're missing almost all of their players. Maybe not, but I'll tell you the one game I think that's going to be really funny. Is it too early to have a tank bowl in the NBA? Because you have the Knicks versus the Cavaliers. And the first team to score 90 might win that game. So we'll see what happens there.
I didn't even know who you were going to be looking at there. I didn't know if you were going to go Bulls Thunder or Knicks Cavaliers when you talked about the tank bowl. So
Austin Rivers said that the Knicks weren't a bad team and they're 0-4 since. So, I think that he bit off more than he could chew on that one. But in today's NBA, the Knicks and Cavs total is 197. You know how hard that is to do to have a total below 200 in today's NBA?
I've actually had it, and I've actually got it at 196.5 without juice.
That's ridiculous. Is that a blind over? Is that like a blind over play? I have no idea.
It seems like a really square play, but
that number's lower than the first half in the All-Star game.
I would love to see the stats in the last 5 years on totals under 200.
I'm really curious because they're few and far between, and I didn't think I'd see one all year, but apparently there is one. So I'm not even talking about for betting it. I'm just really curious that plays out because that's a total that I did not think I'd see anytime soon.
Yeah, agreed. And this is it's a Cleveland team that's not even averaging 100 points this season.
No. And they've had a bunch of injuries also. Sexton's been banged up. Garland's been banged up. So they've had some injuries they haven't been able to overcome. I know Sexton's going to be out for this one. Garland's going to be out as well. I mean, you're going through the lineup here. You got Cedi Osman at the starting small forward, Dotson at the point guard, Larry Nance at the junior at the power forward spot. It's just painful. So I don't even know what to think of that game, but I just saw the total, and I thought it was worth mentioning.
That's funny. Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Drummond is going to play, so excited about that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, not
Do you have anything that stand out to you? Because I don't see much.
um well, I've got a premium in my play of the day on the I've got two different plays on the late game on the other late game on the Clippers game.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, no.
Just maybe the slight over on Bulls Thunder. Maybe.
Sure.
I don't even know. Just Bulls are giving up 121 points per game.
Yeah, 224 is the number there.
Like once again, it's a lot of games that I'm not that interested in.
Yeah, agreed. All right. So, we'll be back to talk about some games that we are actually interested in, Scott. We're going to do both of our NFL shows today, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. As always, if you're looking for more information on these games or any other games in the NBA tonight, make sure you stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com, because I guarantee you the handicappers over there, they got opinions about who's going to win these games. So make sure you stop by. Check out winnersandwhiners.com, the number one site in the world for predictive sports analysis. And, of course, we appreciate you guys watching our show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let us know what you're on here in the comment section. Tell us if you're tailing us, fading us, or if you got something else cooked up in the NBA that we're missing, whatever it is, throw it up in there. We appreciate it. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, appreciate you guys watching today, and wish you nothing but the best. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. Guys, stay tuned. We'll be back with our part one of our NFL series. And, just appreciate you watching us on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.